beautiful people, most welcome to the Voice of Evolution. I'm SharlotChi and working 24/7 for the resurrection of light through the earth plane, light in embodiment, and light through actually new life on the planet, especially for the young ones, youth, and resurrecting their mentality into light frequency, as well as my study with the animal kingdoms and assisting them as much as I can at the present moment. So what does that have to do with the rising in frequency and the big cornerstone of creation that is coming through, termed the summer solstice? It is actually the summer corner that is bringing through a complete cut through the old faculties, the old measurements, the old belief systems, as people will start to question, what the hell have I been believing all of my life? So here is a big opportunity actually to work within self into the deeper realms of light and your true essence, your origin, and what it means to have your organism on the planet, talking about light, listening about what is coming true for the summer solstice, listening what is coming true with a full moon, a new moon, and all that blabber has nothing to do with you as long as you do not integrate light as in technology and absorb these frequencies until you become them and shift your brains 24/7, and that is actually the actual goal of being on the earth, while you spread your light wide on the planet and knowing how to do it. So the essence that is coming through with the summer vibes, or I would term this truly the turnaround corner and storm coming with it, because there are choices to make, as there are every day within you, within your family, within jobs, within connections especially. So there has never ever been a time that this is more important than anything else regarding the artificial means that are downloading more and more, and it's up to us to splash through that and debunk these energies, because they are well stationed in the universe to cut your biology to point zero in artificial means. Look around, artificial foods. Look around, artificial studies in science, artificial developments in any department, in the food industry, in the job industry, in everything that we meet. It's a setup plan, it's part of the agenda. So unplugging any artificial plug, everybody has those plugs, it means that you can shift so quickly, and that is the meaning behind the great bridge of light, the green beautiful bridge that provides knowledge, that provides new data, that provides the opening up into the book of Kells, the book of knowledge that is opening up within the heart center, because it's actually the higher feelers within your heart center that needs to merge to the new books of knowledge, the new analyses, the new studies, and that will bring through new technologies such as you have on your iPhone. But these apps can be installed in your brain faculties, and these bring through changes never seen before actually. So cutting out the dual artificial plugs in your body first, then in your energy field, and then in your crystalline grid that overrides the matrix, the electromagnetics that keep you plugged in the same old cycles all of the time, is a necessity. It is a must to truly move forward and bring the change in self first, because then you will be able to run wild in energies and uplift daily with the shifts coming through. For those willing to move beyond just the mundane parlor and not doing anything with the body to resurrect and move forward, I don't have anything. For those who are willing to work with creation, becoming the creator self, and uploading as well the celestial, celestial and universal body to the point of the immortal self, that is where we are heading. Because becoming immortal, becoming let's say light parts from the old cellular structure that digs into the density and that has the old DNA flying through the body, when we reconstruct that into light parts and then light waves, we can expand like 10, 15, 20 miles, and we can settle our energies in that and truly work with the consciousness within many constructions and many galaxies and many universal platforms actually. And that is when life becomes as it should be, into the origin, communicating with everything out there. So that big project on the earth needs you to become one with your eternal sparkling light self. The spark to spark communication is the message for this summer solstice coming through, that is going to be very potent when knowing how to work with the energies and thus breaking through the old sun stream, the old sunlight, and bringing up or moving into the phoenix with your personal sunrise. And so that requires your individual streaming codes with your sunrise. That can easily be done. So another option here is moving into light body, which is becoming more and more easy. For those willing to move in some construction, I have the easy alignments into the eternal healer, because when the eternal healer is coded within, you can heal out anything, any disease, anything like Alzheimer, anything like cancers or whatever is going on, many thyroid problems, etc. So I specialize in individual sessions here, especially to move your breath up and down through the body into every cell, so you feel it. If you have an injury in your hand and you need to heal that, you need to feel your energy breathe through that particular spot. And that is the point where your life becomes interesting, because if you configure the new light body and you can source your own information, your own data, like a universal channel through, then you can bring the information that is a necessity to the hood or with people you are willing to work with. So you could become an eternal healer, moving into the immortal planes at no time, and educating more and more people in the hood, because there's a very high level need for that. And so that is what I have for you, especially working your degrees with the omnipotent black universe. That is the first step into the immortal vibrations, and then you feel these waves of energies moving in the body, in the energy field, and you can literally work with the elements to bring through new nutrition, as we have to override the electronics of artificial nutrition. Because if you move with artificial means, it's detrimental to your brain. Your brain cannot think for self anymore, so we're breaking essentially through that. And so I have great alignments again here for those willing to move into the immortal self and moving that with the eternal creators. That is so beautiful to move through. Essentially, if we think deeper on body alignments, everybody understands we are almost all water. So the biggest transition I recommend here is to transition the water in the body. And so the design I've been making, especially, I have a huge connection with water species, all of them, whales, dolphins, name them, many fish. So I painted this dolphin waves and how the gold measure come through, that is actually connected to the eternal vibrations, and how that moves to have to finish this. But it doesn't matter if you see, look to the majesty, the wave, and the colors that are being applied. Is actually the peach ray is one of the biggest higher rays that combines yellow and the orange ray as a male-female sun vibration. So I would recommend to work a lot with the peach ray, having the intention to bring the male-female energies back in the body, so that goes a lot further. I have an individual short 2-hour alignment, because it's actually all the dualistic means, and the first one is always the male-female vibrations that have been cut down to the highest level of atrocity. So rising with the lady and the gentleman into light origins is imperative, and that comes also to grounding the water waves in the body and working with the ocean. So these are all done only individual, because it needs a lot more knowledge than anticipated, but you can actually work very well with any ocean and wading through ways that come to your own sorcery and your spark spirit self connection. So that is recommended, and for those who are willing to become teachers of light, please contact me through my email and see what I can do in your country, get a group format together, because it's my intention to start teaching worldwide and to resettle. So I'm gonna move out slowly out of Belgium, move into another country, and see where the highest level of need is for those willing to teach it, and to ground the community with light, and thus you can override anything of the malfunctioning, as I am moving slowly but surely more into the science and the resurrection of the animal kingdom, as there's a lot of psychology to resurrect that moves with the humans, because most animals that are being tortured and abused comes from the human consciousness that has such a high level ignorance, pardon me, we can override quite easily. So here, let's pull some cards for the solstice. Remember what you can do. Always work with green light go, the knowledge, the new data, and you have a good go. Align that to your heart configuration and allow the geometries to come through. So here as well, my new part in creation is my source asking me to explain how light sacred geometry is what it's termed. I term it holy geometric patterns coming through which we can apply to resurrect the body. So when geometric patterns are not being understood, what is the use of just looking at a geometric pattern? You need to understand what it does, right? And so one of those is like I look, for example, at an aquamarine that has 6 platforms and like a capstone and an underground 6 pointed star system, that when I put that around me, I become aquamarine and I work with the waters. And so that particular design is simply there to further, in a quickened position, the light within the body and expand upon it. So light movement goes a lot quicker, and that's the essence behind the technology of geometry. And that is going to be very interesting, because imagine you simply need to apply a design like a triangle, a square, dodecahedron, but knowing how to move that through the blood circulation or the skin or whatever you need to work on works very quickly. So that is the big fun of light technology coming through on a very high level. So I have my cards here with the Celtic knot, the books of knowledge with my sword. So let's pull a few cards for this solstice. And it's, I'm telling you, it's the transition that you make choices, or you stay artificial, in which you will get more and more plugs into artificial life, or you move full-time and override that into light life or light living on the planet. Oh boy, I love this card. I just love it. I am the Phoenix Rising, the Ascent. That's one of my greatest artworks I've ever made. You like it? So what do we see? We see the white grid, the purity over here, and that is very, very potent. And we see the rising of the phoenix embodied by a red vibration, because red light moves through anything. That's power, that is leadership, that is distinctive, that is telling you, I'm gonna get what I deserve, and that is moving into your self-worth. And self-worth, moving that through your light parts, that is moving out anything that has artificial means, and because self-worth is the highest level degree to manifest on the spot, opening that up into the silver way of creation is pure success. So and then I have those query animals about there. I just love it. So that is card number 15. That's 1 and 5 is 6. The Eternal Spiral, of course it is. And let's see, yeah. It means, actually it is part what I've been talking about, so accurate all of the time. Light earth being rising from earth into the light of earth. We must have surpassed anything termed ego, and our energy fields crystal clear from any of the old invasions, such as the hybrids and consciousness of low elemental nodes that recycle stories. You know, if we go on the computer and yeah, we scroll a bit up and down through many different stories, there is like 99% almost of recycling energies, repeating old consciousness, repeating old ways of getting light in the body. So that's not part of evolution today. And quite obviously we have seen as well that it didn't work, because these people keep on repeating the same old stuff, thinking that old stuff is part of evolution. It's not. Evolution demands a new road in ascension, and a quick one preferably. So the lavender fields of expression is one of a kind in a way that it has many creational rooms. You know, a grid has many rooms, as you see on the artwork. There is a grid, it's a crystalline white grid, and that grid you can move into many rooms, and you can sit in one of these rooms and just gather your own data and channel your own information. So that is the huge or best purpose of working with a grid. So in my book, Between the Moon and the Sun, the true story written on Facebook, is all about the resurrection of the body and why it is so imperative to work with crystalline grids and upgrade through that, because they do the work of integrating light in the body. Without a foundation in the crystalline grid, you get lost because you have nothing to hang on to, right? And that's the same. If you build a car, you need a construction on which you can build the oil, the gasoline, the construction of the wheels and everything. So that is a grid. And so, but I would truly recommend you to read my book Between the Moon and the Sun, because it's so much fun to read. It's an authentic story. It's an authentic communication that makes you understand what you can do to move through. And that is written between me and another entity, like 4 or 5 hours a day of harsh communication, moving through what works, what doesn't work, why are people clinging on to the whole and all that. And so when you get that road of understanding, then you can move a million miles ahead, so to speak. So the wonder of these beautiful lavender spaces is that it offers real quick transformation and new initiation. Initiation, comes from the way, actually, the leaders that initiate new life on the planet, and it's a time to truly do that and move to any and all artificial means. So with the celestial bodies, so the blue wave celestial bodies and the crystalline grids. So it's a very high consciousness representing here, meaning you step beyond artificial feeding and you move into electronic light nutrition. And that can be done with any light body configuration. So this card is basically asking you to keep your space crystal clear and make a decision. Where do you want to live? In the electromagnetics and listening to the news? Or do you want to make your own newscast and listen to light configuration which moves into the immortal bodies? Because those who will move into the immortal bodies are here to stay for the next couple of 100 years at least, and do the work that needs to be done to clear up the atrocities that have been created. So that is basically it. So highest health is so important when we are releasing, evaporating all the old air out of the body. So if you have malfunctioning in the body, then you have a mentality and character that truly needs to move into the higher levels of strength. So strength can be coded easily, and that is so, you know, you can just move ways to breathe them, to stay with the same way until it integrates for a week or so. That is so important to understand how you can integrate and shift the brain first, because if the brain has its shifts into knowledge, you can move the heart level of feelings that moves actually with many beams and pillars of light in to the gates or the bridge of knowledge, which is, I thought it was Russia in the throat and Alaska. And creating that arc or that bridge of light is so beautiful, because that is what we will be moving through for this summer storm corner that is upon us from the weekend on. So if you have any questions, just shoot. What are your troubles? What are your concerns? Because it's important you communicate them. And you know, just a small alignment, 1 hour or so, and working on the solar plexus, for example, clearing the intestines and the liver, pancreas, and so on, or just moving and deciding to move or resurrect the electro configurations in the nervous system. That is even more important, and getting out of the old nervous system that is attached or plugged into the electromagnetics. That will go you a long way. So here I have this few books, How to Work with Light Body and Rewrite Your Story. And that is with my book, in which you start to manifest on the spot and rewrite your life and really hold on to these manifestations. And that is where you can move very, very, very fast. So yeah, I'm very passionate about what is going to come through over the weekend. And as I feel it's going to be very, very strong. So hold on to your green light. Go merge that with the pink ray, the fuchsia ray, the pale rose pale, and some gold ray, and open that in the heart, merging with the green and the brain, and you have a good go already. So apart from that, I have the largest seminars. You can all find them in the description box. And if you do not know how to move or where to start or anything, just email or write it in the comments. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And for the individual sessions, so I specialize in the lungs, the eternal immortal breathing system, opening the breath through everything that you are, so you can breathe light through. Sometimes people sit in meditation and they just sit and focus, but not being conscious enough that you need to breathe light frequencies through, like green, orange, peach, whatever you want, and knowing the consciousness that is attached to these ways is imperative to move forward, because then you will feel and know how that changes your brain, and after that how that fuses with everything in the body and all these mechanics. So starting out with that is so beautiful. So I have my individual sessions for healing as well. Deep healing that I provide on any level, be it mentality, stressed out features and traumatic situations, or relationships problems, job problems, so I can go anyways. It's up to the communication, so I work one-on-one. I speak very fast at times, but then I encode, decode and recode your body, so within 48 hours you can experience a huge shift depending on where you are at. So enjoy this summer solstice, and yes, enjoy the new and universal downloads, and be grateful to your source, your spirit, and your spark self. Think about how your spark shines in the cosmos, and breathing your own light configurations through. Okay, wish you all the best. Thank you so much for being with me, supporting my channel, and sharing it wherever you deem appropriate. Thank you.